Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. Welcome to the Michael Artsis Show. I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for joining us. You're watching BeTerrific. You are the Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special. I am so excited today. First of all, there are plenty of ways to get in contact with us at BeTerrific TV across all social media. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/BeTerrific TV. All our videos go to our YouTube page. They eventually make it there. That's our archive, youtube.com/BeTerrific TV. And of course, you can find everything on BeTerrific.com. Okay, you can also join our Slack chat, BeTerrific.com/Slack. All you have to do is give us your name, your email address. We'll send you an invite. You can join us and the rest of the Terrifics in 24-hour-a-day conversation when we're on air. We'll read your comments and questions on air, maybe, if you're smart enough, funny enough, witty enough, or clever enough, or if they're good enough. We'll sneak them on air to our guests as well as far as questions. And of course, you can drop us a line. We love your feedback. Keep it coming. Connect at BeTerrific.com. We love your terrific stories, and we're happy to tell those on the air as well. Today was an awesome day so far. I mean, I had a lot of fun. Went to the city, New York City, right behind me. The city's so nice. They named it twice. I went to see the new set for The Late Show, hang out a little bit with Stephen Colbert. I was somebody's guest who's helping to build the set and design the set. I made the guy laugh the first time I've ever met him. That was a highlight. It was just a funny line. You had to be there, but we had a little bit of fun. Cool guy, seems like a very nice guy. Very exciting to see his new show. And of course, that studio is unbelievable. The control room looks like it really is Houston for mission control for all those launches for the rockets. It's unbelievable. They got a great crew and staff there. And it's interesting. They've ripped out the lighting grids and the catwalks, and they've gone with all LED lights. Our friends at Cineo are doing the lighting there. Pretty amazing. You know, I guess the guys there are actually doing the lighting, but they've picked Cineo lights for a lot of the lights. I noticed that. That was pretty cool. That's Trisha Mass over at Cineo and those guys, and I think they were pretty excited. I sent them a text. And you can see the beautiful top of the ceiling for the first time, which has a nice dome, an arc. And it now has a real theater feel. It's very, very cool. So they really are renovating the place. CBS spent a ton of money to make the Stephen Colbert Show something very special, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. That's going to debut September 8th, and I think they start doing soft launches and audience practices in like 2 weeks. So that's pretty cool. Again, great guy, a lot of fun. And then I went next door to the Hello Deli. I said hello to Rupert. I said, did Dave say goodbye? He said, oh yeah, of course. He came by, he said goodbye. And he was very nice. He's looking forward to the Stephen Colbert Show. I imagine, I mean, business would pick up again, right? You would think. It was kind of empty. It was me and Rupert and some woman ordering a sandwich who was like oblivious to the fact that the Hello Deli is world famous. Anyway, you guys are awesome. We had a lot of fun last night with USA Football. What a great organization. Those guys do such a great job. They do this heads-up football. They're teaching the kids to tackle correctly. They're teaching the parents to help the kids tackle correctly. They're also talking about safety first, and it's really just a great, great organization. They're teaching the parents about, you know, look, here are some signs to notice when your kid comes back from practice. Do they have a concussion? Don't they have a concussion? Make sure the helmet isn't cracked, you know, and don't ever put your head down like this. You don't, that's not how you tackle. You definitely don't, you know. Not even when I played, you didn't do that. And that's back a long time at this point. All right. I've got a very special guest in studio. I'm very excited about this guest. We had a nice long ride from the city. I picked him up in the city and we hit nothing but traffic, wall-to-wall traffic. He's now experienced New York City traffic firsthand. Everything was blocked up. It's the summer, it's hot, but he comes all the way from Israel. He has a great innovative tech company. We interviewed him via Skype at Infocom 2015. The company is NoviSign. They do digital signage, audience engagement, all sorts of great social media aspects and engagement with the audience, social media walls, all sorts of fun stuff. And this is the brains behind it. The guy who founded the company came up with it, him and his team. They're the brains behind it. NoviSign is the company. And Gil, thank you so much for being here. All the way from Israel, you came to see us. I appreciate it. You liked the interview so much at Infocom. You just had to come see us.
Yes, so it was Skype. It was fun. It was interesting. But then we say, you know, we need to see the real studio. And today I'm here with you. And it's very lovely here in New Jersey. You know, it's a very nice place to be. Your studio is very nice.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. This is your first time on Periscope. We've been periscoping for a little while. Hi, Periscopers. It's a completely different feed of video. We're piping them audio, and they watch like crazy on Periscope. We're up to like 2,500 viewers a day, about, you know, give or take a little. I love these guys. They're terrifics as well. What's up, Periscope? We've got Jenny in Finland watching on Periscope. Can you believe that?
No, it's very nice. Actually, I wasn't familiar with that. You know, you used to YouTube, you used the website, but you know, it's coming now to your mobile, and we watch together today. It's just great how the world is getting progress every day.
And live video is where it's at for sure. So, NoviSign, tell me about NoviSign. I know that a lot of people saw the interview at InfoComm, but let's just remind some people who didn't see it what you guys do exactly. I describe it as a very affordable, either do it yourself or hire somebody to do it, but you can do it yourself, digital signage experience. I would say similar to Wix or Squarespace for building your website, this is doing your digital signage.
Yeah, so we try to come with a very easy way to have everybody take a screen and broadcast to the screen. And the question is how to broadcast to the screen. So digital signage was more like images and video. So first we provide digital signage, which is easy to use. You just drag and drop component and you can build your own sign, dynamic sign, but we are much more than that. So we add to our platform many social component, interactive component, and many other web components which you can show on the screen. So just by drag and drop from any web browser, you can broadcast to any screen from anywhere in the world to any screen in the world.
I love that. I want to do one, and we're going to. You and I talked about it. We're going to do one in our lobby. We're going to do one in our greeting area. Both of those will have live feeds of BeTerrific and also some social media and some pictures. I want to do one in here where we can have tweets and we can have Instagram and we can have our logo, but we can also have tweets and Instagram and maybe some sponsor logos pop up and do all sorts of different things so that the viewers can see this screen beautifully with different things instead of just having a BeTerrific logo all the time.
Yeah, and that's what we are targeting. We try to help the people using NoviSign, not just to have a static, you know, video and images, but as you go live and you have live broadcasting all the time, we also want to enable people to bring it to the screen. So not just to have a static thing, but dynamic, live, breathing, feeding screens that will be interesting and updating all the time.
I think what's really awesome too is they work on iOS devices in beta, right? But they work on tablets for Android. So you can put it on a tablet, you can put it on a phone. In addition to that, and more exciting, is that you can put it on a Chrome box or an Android box, and so this little 150 or 250, you know, $150 to $250 box plugged into the TV gets the wireless connection from the internet, and boom, there you have it, and it can change in real time. So when I make a change from Nebraska, it shows up here on this screen in New Jersey.
Yeah, so why not use the website, the web and all the internet, you know, to the screen, and that's actually what we are doing. We want our users to take any screen, just mount it on the wall, and connect it via, you know, via Android, via Chromebox, via either Windows or iOS, and then from this point of time, you know, whatever you set on your browser will show up on the screen immediately.
Yeah, I mean, and I've used it. So that's the thing. The extender just asked me in the Slack chat. He said, how did I first become aware of NoviSign? How did I find you guys? And the reality is that I had two people asking me about digital signage in a small time period before we did anything with InfoComm. And one was a guy who owned a bagel store. And to do digital signage the traditional way for him made no sense. It would have cost him $20,000. And I said to him, how many more bagels are you going to sell because of the signage that is going to make you spend $20,000? What's going to make it worth that? You're just making your place nicer? I don't understand that. What's the margin on these products? Are you going to upsell dessert or a cream cheese spread or a special day that much more because you have a sign? And who's going to update the content, and who's going to update the display? And who, you're going to pay somebody to install this and do all this stuff. So, okay, he was number one. He wanted me to do the videos and photos for it, and I said, you know, I'd do it, but, you know, and then he asked me about digital signage. Then was my good friend Stan from Jacqueline Stanley Opticians. And Stan says, look, I've got a storefront in a very popular district, and I lose business because at night people just look in and I can't show every single frame in the whole place. I can only show 10 frames in the window. I want to put in a screen. Okay, I looked for everything that would be good for him. I helped him out, and I said, how about we take an Android tablet and we put this NoviSign app on it, and you feed NoviSign to it, and you can update it all the time, and he loves it. It works great. I said, oh, this is good. And I did a lot of research, and it was just phenomenal. And I built it for him in a matter of hours, and I made a video for him and popped it right in. And then he's able to change it dynamically. Now he changes it. He takes photos of the new glasses that come in, and it changes, and he loves it. He's added 2 more of these devices in the store, and he thinks he might want to go with a bigger screen and an Android box in the store. Then you've got the bagel guy who I went back to and said, hey, listen, if you want to do something, this is what you should do. And he loved that idea, and now he's got this set up, right? It just makes a lot of sense. So I then was hired as the master of ceremonies for the digital signage stage last year, which was very different than what we did this year at Infocom, because I changed the format. And I tried to get you guys on, but unfortunately you couldn't make it all the way from Israel. And so this year I said, you have to be on. Again, you had a scheduling conflict, but we got you there via Skype because it is a big part of digital signage, and I like it.
Yeah, it's great. Digital signage are getting advanced every day. And everybody that goes out in the street, in the store, there are more and more screens popping all around us. And the question is how to broadcast the content on the screen. And using NoviSign, we want everyone to be able to manage his content, his screen, and we want the screens to be adapted to the place that they are located. So we see a great change, evolution with all the signage, and we try to provide the best software to enable anyone to update his screen and his content, because today it's not only to be on the websites, it's also to be on the walls of the business, of the events, for all the places that we go to.
I love that you found affordable hardware to work on. It's not your hardware, I like that too. You have software that can be updated all the time. So anytime you update the software, the customer benefits from that. And then they can update their signage at any time. It just seems like just this great way to do it, and it's an easy way to do it as well. And there are a lot of great companies out there, but this is I really think you guys are a great company, and I think you're very innovative.
Oh, thank you very much. So, yeah, basically we are a software guy, we are a software company. We want to make sure we have the best software, the operational system, the software that will enable the creation of the content, the broadcast, and then the monitoring to see that everything is going okay. But we leave the screens and the players for the people who understand about hardware. So basically they can buy any screen in the store right nearby them, mount them on the wall, and as all the screens are getting to be smarter, because there is a small tablet, big tablet, an iPod, so any device, a screen, display that you put NoviSign application on, it can just get the feed from remote and update the screen. So we focus on the software. You can get your own hardware. You can choose the size, the vendor which is comfortable to you, and we try to keep it easy and in a good price point that anyone can use it.
You know what I think is interesting is that if enough clients also, they say, hey, we'd really like this feature, you can add that feature, and they're not paying a new software license or have to upgrade the software or anything. It happens automatically. Talk about the cost, because I've mentioned it, you've mentioned it, but it's very reasonable, isn't it?
Yeah, so so there is the NoviSign cost for the software. As you mentioned before, you can take any screen, and also you can take the players. The Chrome boxes, they are starting at 150, 250, depending on the power of the device. But if you go to the Android, then the price is much lower. Android players can start from $20, $30 if you have like simple needs, but as you need more videos, you maybe take like a stronger player, but still you can stay with less than $100 for a player that can support videos, live social media, images, rolling text, and so on. So the initial installation, the screens, the player is cheap, and also our software is something that is affordable. You can go online to novisign.com and in a $20 per screen per month, you can have your own studio, your broadcast platforms. It's an all-in-one, it's in the cloud, and there is no any other cost than the $20 a month.
That's great. I like that a lot. That's really, really reasonable, really affordable, and I like that it's affordable across the board. How many people do you have working for you guys? Is it like a 20-person team, a 50-person team? I know you're growing a lot.
Yeah, we're growing. So we started 4 people, and today we are more than 4 years in the business. We have a core of around 10 plus people working for the office. And with today's world, you have a lot of contractors, freelancers, partners. So basically, there are more than 20 people operating to bring the product out to the world, which 10 of them plus are core, and the rest are people that are working with us, together with us in different sorts of combinations to bring this thing all the time.
How do you manage all? I mean, you got a family, you got kids, and then you got a business that's growing, and 20 people are involved. How do you manage all that and traveling and all this?
Yeah, so starting with just 4 people, it's very easy because you can coordinate things very fast. And today, not only we need to manage like the core people that we have in the office, but also other people that are doing other things in parallel. And it's making it very interesting, but we are very enthusiastic because if you see more and more screens are popping us, and just 2-3 weeks ago we found out that NASA in Houston Space Center, they just download our software. You don't even have to download, just sign up, and they starting to use 3 to 4 players screens at their facility and say, wow, that's the closest ever we can get to the moon probably. But you never know where it's going, the screens. And it's keep you motivated and working to build more, and the team is all into it.
That's got to be amazing. I mean, it's got to be so interesting to not know where your product is. It would be like if I walked into Starbucks and all of a sudden there's a screen there that's a NoviSign screen playing BeTerrific, and I had no idea.
Yeah, so the thing is that, yeah, you don't know. And sometimes, when you have technical problems or people are contacting you, like you spoke about you helping your friend
Sure.
with either the bagel or the optometrist tweets. So we really didn't know about it, So you sign up, you did everything yourself, and we don't know. But sometimes, we are surprised. We are in an amusement park, we are in church, we are in a synagogue, we are in a school. We are in a volunteer organization. We are in one of DHL distribution center.
Wow.
And it's the world used to work like people have like a sales team that go out and reach for customers and installation process. Without people go online, like you open a Gmail account, you open a NoviSign account, and you start broadcasting. And there are so many accounts. There are more than 10,000 accounts in the system. So we don't really know who is using it, why they're using it. It's more that if people are reaching to us in our info@novisign.com and asking questions or have some issues with the support, then we start to communicate. Wow, we're here. Wow, we're here, and everybody is excited. Like from our small office, we are getting all around the world, from New Zealand, Australia. We have it in China, and now a nice installation that we are getting is a safari. So to be with all the animals there, it have to be fun. But
wow.
we all the time ask to people to send us some pictures, such as from a casino, safari, things like that. Like it's just amazing. We are everywhere without traveling. Everything today is on the cloud.
It's unbelievable. Were you always an entrepreneur?
Many years in the high tech.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first, actually the second journey that I'm doing with one of my members now, and also, but with my wife, we opened the biggest website portals for kids in Israel, when it was just a fun thing that we put some links to our girl so she can easily, find stuff on the web. It came up to the biggest portal for kids in Israel with more than 2 million visitors a month.
Wow.
Which later acquired by one of the leading Israeli companies. Yeah, it's very interesting. That's how I find the internet. So from the regular high tech with RFID, telcos, I found the internet, and we try to combine all the experience here in NoviSign to bring all the high tech over the cloud and internet to the broadcast system we have.
I think being an entrepreneur is something that you're kind of born with. It's almost an instinct. Would you say that that's true? And that's why I said, were you always an entrepreneur? Did you always have the entrepreneurial spirit? Is it something you're born with, or is it something you just learned to become?
It's something that you need to be passionate about it. Yeah. So all the time try to do new things, how to do things, and have this, you probably heard it before, but I have this notebook with ideas that I'm writing down. And I wish I had more time to start and try to execute more ideas, but now we are focusing in NoviSign. We want to bring great values to our customers, then that will bring back great value to NoviSign.
I think that's a great policy. Talk about some of the things you can do. You can do contests, you can do games, you can do social media, you can get emergency information out. You can also play videos, both on YouTube. You can do live with Ustream, and live stream as well works. There are some other options you can do, static pictures, you can do all sorts of stuff. Run me through the different things you can do on NoviSign.
So with NoviSign, first you can do the easy stuff that you can do with other signage software, such as to display image, to rotate image on the screen, to put videos, rotate videos. And every digital signage software, and most of them just do like full screen images and videos. We can do that, but with us, we have widgets, small widgets you can drop on the screen and say, what is the size of the image, where you want to put it. So there's object you can put. What type of objects you can use with us? So it's image, it's video, it's text, it's rolling text, it's RSS news that you just take a link and put, and then you can see CNN, Fox, whatever RSS you can get, either for small website, not just for the big news organization.
Sure.
So this is more like the elements that are there. It's weather, it's image, it's shapes you can do. But then we have the social. We have a widget of Twitter, of Facebook, of Instagram, of YouTube. You drop it into the screen, and you say what you want to track. You want to track it by hashtag, by keywords, everything around water, everything about politics, everything around power, energy, oil.
BeTerrific.
The BeTerrific, yeah. So everybody who is mentioning BeTerrific in his post, in his talk, will be there, not only in the social network, it can get to the screen. And so now my hotel is near the Times Square, and you go there and you saw all this nice big screen, but you don't need to be the NASDAQ in order to have live updates to your thing.
Sure.
Every organization today, they can just buy a 70-inch screen, which is huge, either 50, 60, 70-inch with less than $1,000. Put them at the lobby of the company, or put it somewhere which is very visible, and they put a live feed of what is new, what is new in Twitter, what is new in Instagram, around the domain they are dealing with. So there are many big corporations here in the US that invest so much money in social media, but if you come to the workers and employees of the company, they know nothing about it. Okay, because they don't know, they don't follow the company.
Sure.
But imagine, in the cafeterias, in the rest areas, in the lobbies, in the elevators, you will put a screen and you will put live updates of what you're already creating and putting hundreds of thousands of dollars in the content and broadcasting in social media. Why don't you bring it to the people that are relevant to you in the organization, so they will also know what is new without having a special function to update them? They can just pop up automatically. Because once you post something in Instagram with a hashtag or with your username, it will pop up automatically on the screen, and you don't need to swivel the chair and to put it into another system. It will come up automatically with the feed, and it's out of the box. You don't need to integrate or to program it. You just drag and drop, you put a thing, and it's up on the screen.
Pretty cool. Pretty freaking cool. It's NoviSign.com, NoviSign.com. Gil, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to a whole lot more. How's that sound?
Sounds good, thank you.
All right, we'll be back with a whole lot more right after this on this Friday edition of the Michael Artsis Show on BeTerrific. You're the Terrifics. I'm Michael Artsis. We'll be back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. Welcome back to the Michael Artsis Show. I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for joining us. You're the Terrifics and you're watching BeTerrific. You make BeTerrific special. We have so much coming up. We've got new shows coming on. We had the Gaming On show starting this week, so it'll be on next week. Starting Monday, we go to 2 hours on the Michael Artsis Show, 3 to 5 every day because you asked for it. Plenty of ways to reach out to us. At BeTerrific TV on Twitter, Instagram, all social media. You can also hit us up on email, connect@BeTerrific.com. Don't forget about our Slack chat. That is BeTerrific.com/Slack. Join us and the rest of the Terrifics 24 hours a day when we're on air. We can have a conversation, and of course, we can talk about your topics and questions on air. All right, we've got Gil here. He is from NoviSign. It's an Israeli company, digital signage in the cloud. It's really amazing. It really puts the power in the end user's hands for a very affordable cost, and it's just a brilliant design thing. Talk about Israel and what the technology landscape is like in Israel right now. What's going on? I know there's a lot of great companies, a lot of companies inventing a lot of great products and services, and a lot of development happening there.
Yeah, so Israel in the last 20 years is growing very fast because we have a very good ecosystem for entrepreneurship, education system, finance backup, and military technology units that people after the army as they're joining. So this ecosystem together bring a lot of new companies to the world. They say that after US and Canada, Israel is the #3 country to have companies traded in the NASDAQ. Many people are maybe familiar with Waze that just was bought by Google with the navigation that we're using today.
Sure, yeah, it's a navigation software that tells you traffic. It's geo-tagging and based on other people and where they are, and Google paid a ton of money for it. And then there are a lot of other great companies. You told me about Wix in the car. I didn't realize they were Israeli. A lot of great companies. I think a lot of the people come out of Technion, the university, the technical university in Israel. Is that true that a lot of the good startups are founded by people coming out of Technion?
So it's Technion. It's the #1 institute for technology and engineering in Israel, which is in Haifa. There is a lot of innovation coming out from there. Also, a lot of knowledge coming from the army, and you see a lot of security companies, cyber companies, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Also starting up. And if in the past, if an exit of a few tens of millions of dollars, or the big one was a few hundreds of millions of dollars, today Israel can create big company of $1 billion companies. We saw also the people from in Japan, they bought over Viber, which is a voice over IP calls, $1.2 million. We were mentioning Waze, we were mentioning Wix. There are many more other companies that are going from the hundreds to towards the 1 billion mark and above, which is very amazing. We are only 8 million people country that exists, like 50 years, so it's 60-something years. So for a young country, starting in the desert with camels less than 100 years ago, so we're growing very fast, and the atmosphere, the guys, it's small, so the guys that sold the company, the guys that know Android, the guys that knows marketing, the guys that have connections to this, and you see more and more also big companies such as Yahoo, Google, you just name it, Samsung, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, all of them have R&D centers in Israel. And one of the trends also that they buy, Facebook, they buy like a small startup, and they get the technology, they get the people, and on top of it, they build more and more workforce. So they have another place for innovation. One of the nice things now is Amazon just opened an R&D center, but this time not for software or hardware. This time for all the droids that they want to fly. So they want to use the Israeli unmanned aircraft for their
package
projects.
deliveries, and well, that's Amazon, but
Yes.
they want to figure it out. I mean, drones are huge. They're growing, and they're a big market space, and I think that they're going to keep growing. I think it's a very interesting space to
So
watch right now.
I was really surprised because until now it was more like they bought over the chip.
Sure,
You know,
toys.
and hardware components. No, not chip. I mean like all the microelectronics
Oh,
and
yeah.
and software. You know, it's more like the hardware and software and all the CPUs companies. But now it's like the aerospace that they came into, and because we are very good also with aviation and space.
Sure.
That more and more people are coming to this space as well in Israel.
It sounds like a great place to learn, to work, and to create technology. Obviously, the political climate isn't always the best, but you know, you and I were talking off camera. It seems like life is pretty good right now. Knock on wood or something.
Yeah, you know, it's all the time that there is a tension in the region, but you know, we know how to deal with that. And on one hand, you know, you need to secure the place, but on the other hand, you need to build your economy. So if a regular company, you know, just deal with the economy, we also deal with security. But you know, doing that, it's a national feel of patriotism that everybody is sharing into, helping one another to build something good. And you know, I wouldn't say most of my friends, all of my friends in the, you know, in the high-tech industry, in the startup industry, they're all, you know, also preaching for peace, for good, because at least we and all of our friends are trying to build, you know, a better Middle East, and there's a, you know, there's a lot of good things on both sides of the fence that is trying to build. It's the, you know, the small majority of extremists that we all the time needs to put away to build a better
Sure, the
situation.
small minority of extremists making a lot of noise, and hopefully one day there will be peace in the Middle East. I don't know if we'll ever see it in our lifetimes, but I hope so. I really do. I love what is coming out of Israel. There's a lot of innovation and technology, and a lot of good people who are very smart, creating great companies like NoviSign. Thank you for coming on and sharing some information about Israel, but also about NoviSign.
Thank you.
I'm excited about NoviSign. I really am. I think it's got such a application here, or multiple applications here, and I love that you can use it for many different things. In fact, there was a guy who passed by the studio, works at a different company. Right before we started, I sat him down. I said, "You got to,
Yes.
you got to talk to Gil here, and you got to find out about this product because it's perfect for you guys." And he loved it. He was very happy with the introduction. Where do you guys go in the future as NoviSign? What do you tackle next?
So we keep working hard in order to have it live 24 hours in order to support more and more hardware operation system that is there, and adding more and more feature. The great vision that we see that screen will be all around us, because there are more and more screens that are getting all around us, but there are so many places without screens, without updates. So we like people really to go with their mobile phone, and once they go, not only they can see the screen, they can interact with the screen. You know, they can download a coupon, they can exchange information, they can share experience with other people around them. So we see the screen as something which is talking with the people that coming to the venues, going through the dispersion ways, and you know, we try to build some interactive world when people can better communicate between themselves and within the environment they are in.
Are you using, you kind of mentioned briefly before, NFC technology with RFID tags, and then there's Apple's Beacon for iOS, and there's also QR codes, which never have really caught on here in the US. What of those technologies, or all of those technologies, are we talking about?
So until today, that's a really big question that nobody, I think, can answer. So what's the best way to people to connect? You know, whether they will check their phones one near another, and then you see that the phone is in motion, open on certain channel, and then they will connect. Whether they scan a QR, whether they type a code, whether they send an SMS and get a link back, or whether they use NFC, RFID. There are so many ways to do it, but none of them yet took over the market. So it's not trivial yet to connect, you know, people between the screens. Today we support, we have like SMS gateway that you can take something and get a link back. We support a QR code. We support typing a tiny URL. And we're working on integration with events, RFID, NFC, things like that, to better connect the system, but still, I think there is some work to do, and it's something like NoviSign is a part of it, but I think it's more of a thing for the big companies such as, you know, whether it's Google or Apple or other companies to help to bring this connectivity to.
Well, also the hardware has to be there, because I don't know personally, but I don't know if a Chromebox or an Android has an NFC chip in it or an RFID. And they might, and then that's a big part of the equation. JT Hockey wants to know, can you import Google Docs and then be able to update them, or do something for scheduling to show schedules and be able to update them easily without having to update your Google Doc or your Google Calendar and then update another database on the screen? Is there something for that?
Yeah, so actually it's built in the software. What you can do is we have a web component. You put a web component on the screen. Then you put the URL of, like you're sharing the Google Doc with a friend, you take the link of the shared URL, you put it inside. The first time you open in the player, you need to put a username and password. And from this moment on, whatever you do on the spreadsheet, on the document of Google, will come up automatically to the screen.
Is there a way to format it differently than it would just be a Google spreadsheet and make it look nice, or and have it pull the data and put it in, or is that not possible?
At this point of time, you know, if you want it out of the box and don't pay anything else, you know, just pay for the regular on monthly fee, then we show it as it is. But if you're a big organization or if you're more screens, you know, once we see the reason, we can integrate. So we can also build custom project for companies that want to see data in a certain way and just take the data from API and see it. So it's either build it when there is a big demand of the market, or for the demand of a customer that is ready to pay for that.
Excellent. Does that get expensive, or is that reasonable? It seems like your prices are reasonable. So
the prices is reasonable, you know, if we build something, you know, for the entire people, and if not, we buy it by time and material.
Sure.
Most of the time.
Time and material. It's funny. It's like we're building a house. Well, we've got a 2x4 here, and that's going to set you back about $22. And then we've got the guy, he's about $100 an hour. And okay, I get it. I really do love what you're doing. Digital Phil wants to know what kind of businesses this is perfect for. He says, is it good for doctors' offices and hotels? Is it also good for delis? And then where is it good for? Where is it best for? And where is it not maybe as practical as some other solution?
So the nice thing, screens can go anywhere. So it can be internal communication. So corporates can put screens in their organization. It can be for education. So school can put it in the lobbies, in the corridors, at the entrance of the classes. It can be for religion, you know, put it in a synagogue, in a church. It can be for transportation. So in Brazil, you know, they just buy all-in-one Android device. They put it on the bus. They put a SIM card inside. So and suddenly it's communicated via cellular network, and the screen in the bus is updated with the content that they set back from the office. So transportation is coming to be strong. We mentioned education, retail, you know, starting to have more and more screens. So it's really, you know, everywhere. You know, hotels, swimming pools, and many other places.
You can't think of a business that wouldn't be good for.
Yeah. So the question is where it won't fit. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Gil, thank you so much for coming on. I'm glad that you're here. I'm excited to have this not only on set, but in the lobby and the green room area of our studio for our patrons or our guests to come by. And we've started to invite our audience, anytime they're in the area, drop by and watch live the show. So it's exciting. I'm very excited that we're going to be using NoviSign. I think it's great, and I think it has a lot of great applications. I really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was great to be here with you today.
It's great to have you here. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and wrap up the Michael Artsis Show. And then Monday, we're at 2 hours, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, every day of the week. And of course, you're not going to want to miss our video game show, Gaming On. That starts Tuesday nights, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, we'll be back with a whole lot more right after this. You're the Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special. Don't go anywhere. Rode microphones are the official microphones of BeTerrific. Find out more at rodemic.com. I was trying to mess Greg up back behind the scenes. This is the Michael Artsis Show. It's a Friday. This is BeTerrific you're watching, and you are the Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special. We're having fun here. We're like loosening up. We just had Gil from NoviSign on from Israel. He came in to be with you. How awesome is that? Unreal. We had a lot of fun. Great company. NoviSign.com. Check it out. All right, Greg, I'm excited. We're going to have NoviSign all over this studio. I can't wait for that. Can we get the Chrome boxes today? The GoPros are here, by the way. We're going to start shooting some amazing stuff with GoPros. They will be, I haven't even seen them yet, but we're going to have them in our hands by Monday, at least some of them. All right, Greg, we went to USA Football yesterday. What did you think?
Yeah, it was a good time, man.
Yeah?
It was a lot of fun.
But the thing I like about USA Football is they take such a great approach to these camps. They teach not only the kids but the parents that, it's really important to tackle right, to be safe about the game, to know your kid, to know when they're overheating, to know if they're been dinged. That's what they call a concussion, by the way, in football. You got your bell rung, son. You've been dinged.
It's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah. And I think it's a much safer way for the game. I like it. I love what they're doing. They're teaching it properly. They're teaching the kids how to tackle fundamentals. You know, a lot of kids don't learn that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, listen, football is a very rough sport. You know, it's very physical, and there's a good chance that you could get injured if you don't do things right. And, you know, the education, the kids need to be educated very early to minimize the risk of that.
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely.
That's really good.
Yeah. I brought me back to my football days. I was on the Blazers. You know, and our chant when we run around the field, you had to run a lot in football. These kids didn't look like they ran that much. They didn't have to do that much calisthenics. We were doing jumping jacks in our football equipment. We were running. We would go, who are we, Blazers? What are we going to do? Crunch and kill. What are we going to do? Crunch and kill. Yeah.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah, it was. It was awesome. I missed that a little bit. You don't have that in hockey. You don't. I mean,
really?
I love hockey, but you don't have that. You have the intensity.
Is it more of like a one-on-one kind of?
No, hockey's just different. I mean, you're a team, but
Right.
and then the battles are more one-on-one, I guess. And you're out there. You're just. I mean, I think the thing in football is on every single play you're colliding with somebody. You can't. The play can't stop unless somebody's been tackled, right? In hockey, you're not looking to line somebody up every second. You could actually skate the entire length of the ice and score, which is the point of the game, and not be touched. It would be difficult, but the point isn't to go out there and just annihilate somebody, although sometimes it might be. I mean, depending on who you are. I don't know, it's just a different sport. The interesting thing is hockey can be much more brutal in the hits, and yet I think you suffer less concussions in hockey, yet my major concussion that I had in my life came from hockey.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if I suffered a concussion from playing football. You didn't know back then, right? But it certainly wasn't a knocked out concussion. I was knocked out playing hockey.
I mean, I find that really hard to believe that there's less concussions in hockey because
it's my feeling. I don't know if it's 100% right. There's no scientific proof behind it. I don't know what the concussion ratio in hockey is. It certainly isn't. There isn't a light focused on concussions in hockey. But I feel like you're in hockey. See, in football, you're down coming up, right? And
Right.
so even these kids last night, right? Their heads are still getting flung around a lot, right? And your face is in somebody else's face, right? In hockey, your shoulder is going into somebody's shoulder. Your hip is going into them. It really, I mean, like how I got my concussion in hockey is I got nailed. My helmet popped off. My head hit the crossbar and then the ice as I got knocked to the ice. So you know, and for a little guy like me, I might have taken more abuse to my head than somebody else, because as I skate by somebody and I'm getting low, I might catch an elbow to the head and stuff. But it's not the same thing as football. And then there's very little, you know, head-on collisions in hockey. Head-on collisions happen in football. Yeah, and even when they do in hockey, you're standing somebody up to your shoulder. You really are. You don't lead with your head at all, ever. And in football, they're teaching them not to lead with their head, but you still have to, your head's got to be involved there. And, you know, but you're not keeping the crown of your head down, you're picking it up.
I don't know. See, I figured it might be a little bit more risky, because the helmets in hockey aren't even nearly as padded as football
and that's
helmets.
the other thing. I used to shave the padding out of my hockey helmet for more comfort, and because the pros did it. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I feel that there are less concussions in hockey, and you would have less concussions than you would in football. I don't know. There's not really evidence, but there's no spotlight shined on hockey like there is on football. It could be because it's less popular. There's no doubt about that. It could be because it happens less. It's not that they're not dealing with it as an issue. They are. And certainly you don't have fighting in football like you do in hockey. I mean, I don't think it's good to have your helmet knocked off and then take 5 or 6 punches in a row to your head. But you don't have that in football. Any of the fights, you're still wearing your helmet.
Right.
You know, but also in hockey, you know, like, think about a quarterback being sacked. He goes back, his back hits, his head flies onto the turf. You've seen that. Joe Montana, LT, or I think maybe it was Leonard Marshall who knocked him out in that NFC Championship game in 1991. And Montana's back of his head hits the turf. You don't really see that in hockey. When you're getting hit, your body's hitting the ice or the boards or whatever. It's rare to really have your head just get planted into the ice. It's not that it doesn't happen. It's just it happens less. That's all. I think. I don't know. I'm not saying that for sure.
I mean, you did play the game, so.
Yeah, I mean, I did. But
So-
the weird thing is, like I said, I don't feel like my concussion, I don't know, maybe I had, you know, that's the thing. Back then you didn't watch for little things, right? I tell this story that I played baseball. I was third base. We had this coach, and he hit a ball, third base. It hit a rock on the field because they don't clean the fields like they do for Major League Baseball. Pops right up into my head. The stitches of the ball were in my forehead. And I was knocked out. He held me out of the rest of practice, but was excited that I wanted to play. And my grandfather had picked me up that day, and he just said, you know, Michael got hit in the head. I still have the stitch marks. You know, just watch him. Make sure he's okay. My grandfather went, he's fine. You know, my grandfather was tough. And, you know, I don't know if I was knocked out then or if I had a concussion. I certainly played the next day. And that's baseball. You're not supposed to have injuries like that in baseball. So you didn't watch it like you do today. Today, I mean, if it was back then, I would have been a neurologist, and they would have taken CAT scans and MRIs, and they would have had me sit out for a week and all this stuff. If I didn't have a coach, the coach was very cautious. I don't know why, but he was very cautious. I would have played in probably any other team in that league, in the high school league I was in. I probably would have played in the rest of that practice. I think he realized, look, it's a practice, and there's no reason to have him out here. You know, I don't know.
I hear you. No, I mean, it's very different now. People know a lot more about concussions and the severity.
What's amazing to me is how much education the parents got last night with USA Football, because I think that the parents should be that educated already, but they're not. They're getting educated by these programs. That's why they're so good.
Yeah, I mean, it's great because really, when the kids get done practice, they go home, right? Yeah. There could be lingering effects that don't show up, you know, for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And so the parents need to know what to look out for.
What'd you think of shooting footage? You shot some footage last night, huh?
It was fun.
Yeah.
I didn't think I did all that well, but
you did good.
You said I did well.
Yeah, you did.
And
I shot with a behemoth, huh?
You did. That thing was huge and unwieldy.
Yeah, it didn't have a hand grip. A C500 doesn't have a hand. I got to say something. I am not in love with the C500. I think it is not a great camera. I wanted to talk to Mitch about this. I almost want to write an article for planet5d.com and say, like, this is a camera I would never, ever, ever want to own and would never want to shoot with. I can think of, this is what I was trying to tell you. There are about 10 cameras that are cheaper that I would buy first that shoot 4K. There are about 10 cameras that are more expensive I would buy first. I don't think, I couldn't find one redeeming thing about this camera. I don't think the picture quality is as good as it should be. I don't like the format that it records to internally. I don't like that you can't record 4K internally. I don't like that there's no hand grip. I don't like the ergonomics of the camera. I don't like the monitor on it. I don't like the eyepiece on it. I don't like the way the audio gets jacked into the thing for the XLR, and then the cables you got to connect. I don't like that you have to build it out to be a big beast. I don't like just about everything about the camera. I don't like its ISO range. I don't like how it did when it started to get a little bit darker out there. I think that there are a lot better cameras. I would say I would go with an A7S from Sony over that camera with a Shogun attached to it that's just pulling a full frame image right off that sensor from an Atomos Shogun, or even an Odyssey 7Q. I would look at all sorts of different things that I think would be more interesting. You know, C300 Mark II might be better. Again, the ergonomics probably aren't going to be great. I'm not going to love it, but at least it has a hand grip. And this thing had a huge fan, and it was overheating. You know, it was a hot night out, but I don't think the camera should be overheating. And my hand was getting hot, and it was hard to hold. I think for that price, I'd rather a red Scarlet for sure. Maybe even step up to an Epic for the money you put into this camera. Then you've got all sorts of other things. You got the, obviously it doesn't shoot 4K, but the Aria Mira, or you could go all the way to an Alexa, or the Alexa Mini would be an interesting thing in that kind of thing. And then you could go with a Sony F5 or an F55 or an F65 like NFL Films had out there last night. I mean, of course, now you're getting stupid money into cameras, but there are a lot of cameras that are less expensive and a lot of cameras that are more expensive that I'd have before I would have that camera, for sure. I would probably shoot with a 1DC from Canon before I would shoot with this thing. And I don't think the image quality is that good. I really don't. I'm just not into it. I know that the extender loves his C100. We talk about it. He makes great products for all these cameras, and he's a big C100 fan. He's going to tell me I'm a moron when I say this, but it's not for me, man. It's not for me. I'm glad that I got to have some fun with it last night, and we got some great footage for USA Football, but it's not for me. And we're going to hopefully do some more stuff with them. You know, were you impressed the rack focus when I'm in the kids' faces and they're running and I'm racking the focus as I'm running backwards?
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I don't know how you do it, honestly. Like, you gave me the other Canons we have, and they're very noob friendly, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. And even then, I was like, okay, I got to find spots to shoot from, and I still got to pay attention to focus a little bit, because if I start recording something before everything is in focus, it doesn't look good. And when it started to get later, it really started to struggle with regaining focus. So
yeah, well, yeah, I mean, but you did all right, and you know, you did all right, and you got some good footage, very usable stuff. And it was good as a B camera to my A camera. And I think you learned a lot about shooting last night, certainly. And I thought it was funny that the NFL Films guy wound up copying my shots, and I picked up on it, but then you picked up on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say he was lazy, but he certainly wasn't getting, like, in their faces. He wasn't getting on the ground. Like, you were laying on the ground for some of these shots.
Yeah.
You know, you were just like, you were putting yourself in a position to maybe get hurt, dirty, you know, and these guys were just sort of like, you know, farting around with their big rig. And
yeah, I definitely you know, got out there and got into it, and certainly got hit a couple times, could have been tackled, all that stuff. I mean, they're little kids. I would have done that on a pro field too, and I have. I've been tackled by Curtis Martin. Curtis,
really?
My favorite Martin.
Wow.
No, Tim, I'm not pissed at Canon. I'm telling you my honest reaction to the camera. I like their other cameras. I said the 1DC I would go out there with. I like the 5D Mark III. I think that the C500 is half a camera. It's half baked for what they charge for that. I think the C300 is got a much better value, but I got to tell you, I don't like that whole cinema line. I'm not a fan of it. The C300 is a much better value. The C100 I think is too much, again, for not enough camera, and I hate that it goes AVC HD. It's a terrible codec, you know. So no, I love Canon. We've done stuff with Canon. We've done stuff for Canon. We've done internal reviews of cameras and told them where in the market they fit and what features should be added. I just think that the camera leaves a lot to be desired, and I'm sure they'll fix that in the C500 Mark II, a lot of it. It's also, you have to understand, and I explained this to Greg last night, and it's a filmmaker's camera. It's made for filmmaking, which means you're going to build it out and rig it out because that's how filmmaking is. But it's not really that well thought out for that, and also it's really positioned more for like high-end video journalism, high-end corporate work, high-end this, high-end that. And if it's going to be a camera that's going to be flexible, it needs to be able to work with all these situations, and it doesn't really do that. Now, is the F65 great for what these guys were shooting with it last night at NFL Films? No, but they rigged that thing out beautifully. And you know, I just think that this doesn't have the ability to do that as well. You know, maybe I just didn't have enough extender gear with me, and I should go to theextender.com with one E and pick some more stuff up and rig the thing out right and put an Atomos on it, and then I would have been happier. I don't know. I found it to be a very trying camera to use and difficult camera to use, and as a camera expert, I'm telling you, it wouldn't be the camera I would choose for the dollar amount that it is. I'm not saying, look, some of the images look great, right, Greg? But I'm not saying that I'm just saying for the price point, there are other choices. I love Canon. I love Nikon. I've done work for Nikon too. I've spoken on their stage, talked about workflows. And Nikon hates the fact that I say I like Canon. You know, it's like they hate the fact that I would use a Canon camera and then talk on their stage. And look, we're using what we use. I'm a video journalist. I'm a reporter, host, anchor. I got to use what works for the shoot. You know, Nikon was funny. 2 years ago, I showed up at NAB to speak on their stage. I was wearing shoes with yellow bottoms, these Cole Haans, and Nikon says, "Oh, it's a shade off." I didn't get them for them, and I said, "Oh, I'll wear the red ones tomorrow," and they, "Oh, these are fine." You know, you get it. They didn't want me to wear the Canon red on the bottom of the shoes. It was funny. Anyway. All right, you guys are awesome. You're the Terrifics. I don't know. We're all positive. We're supposed to be all positive. That's what we do. But I'm just giving you my opinion of the camera. That's all. It's a real opinion. It's not negative. It's just I would go with a red Scarlet, or I would go with something else. I think the A7S looks amazing. I saw footage. This guy Ben shot. We had him in here. He went to, remember Kilimanjaro? We had him in here a couple weeks ago, and then he went out to Kilimanjaro. I've seen the footage on an A7S. That's all he took. Oh my God, it's mind-numbing. It is so gorgeous, 4K, the icicles and everything. That camera has problems too, though. It's got too much rolling shutter because, you know, whatever. Hopefully they fix that. It has no stabilization, and the flutter is terrible. Hopefully they fix that in the A7S Mark II. Okay. There are drawbacks to all these things. There's no perfect camera on the market, but when you're spending that kind of money, I look at it and I go, well, what else could I have, spend less and get better results or same results? Or I'm just talking about how you use it. I didn't feel comfortable using it. And to me, that's more important than how it shoots, because if I can't shoot well with it comfortably, it doesn't matter how well it shoots. And there are other things that shoot as good, if not better, and for less money. So that's all. And I love you, Tim. Thank you so much for watching. Tim is the best. So is the Extender. So are all you Terrifics. Tim needs to be in our Slack chat. It is BeTerrific.com/Slack. Join the Slack chat. By the way, we love Tim. Tim's the best. So Tim Ward, what's up, buddy? I got a text message from him during the show. And I'm glad the Extender thinks I'm too funny. All right, everybody, we'll see you Monday. You guys have a great weekend. We're looping all the content from the week this weekend. So check it out, BeTerrific.com/live. I want to thank, of course, Gil from NoviSign, NoviSign.com for coming in. Check that out. And we will see you guys on Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't go anywhere on Monday at 3 p.m. Put it right here, BeTerrific.com/live. We'll see you then. I'm Michael Artsis. Have a great weekend and be terrific.